Good evening, everyone. Once again, welcome to Knowledge and Relationships N3 TV News, the stream that gives you the best news. This is your boy M3, and I have Jessica Hanson, as we promised from our ladies' night stream, that we have to give her a lovely interview. So, welcome, Jessica, to the return of you.
Hey.
Sex song music. Hope it's not too loud for you.
Oh, no.
How you doing tonight?
Great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you for being there. And like I said, welcome again on your return. I know it's been like a couple of months since we last seen you on the latest live stream, but it was definitely fun to see you, and we're honored to give you an interview. Before I begin, I must welcome Mr. Best in the World.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on?
Hey.
As usual,
Mr. Best in the World.
Doing great. As usual, thank you, everybody, for being a part of Knowledge and Relationship Experience. We truly appreciate your comments and all the love you've shown us. M3, you know what I mean? As always, man, thank you for, having this platform for all of us. And Jessica, hey, finally, we have you on. I am so honored and privileged to have you on. You are a great person and just a wonderful human being. And thank you for everything you've done. And people are going to really find out, like, you are just a wonderful, fascinating person, and that you've done so much to just help mankind, just humans as a whole. So, yes, let's get into it.
All right. So thank you guys for tuning in, and ladies as well, too, for our interview with Jessica Hanson. And before we begin, I'd like to just take the time to read the comments. Kashim says, welcome back to all # Knowledge and Relationships podcast. Tonight, we interview Miss Jessica Hanson. That's right. Virtual hug, video call. Please tune in to the live tonight. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share too. And she says, remember to hit that notification bell.
Yeah,
so that you are all notified of all of our episodes. Mondays, Thursdays, Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Because we're in the West Coast. And Atlanta Thresh says, woo! We are back. That's right.
Yes, we are. Atlanta Thrasher, my brother. Hey, man. Love you, brother.
Yeah. Now, I know he hates when we give him shout-outs, but we give him shout-outs anyway. Shout-outs to the Atlanta Thrasher, for always being there and thrashing it up. And remember, people, don't forget to like us, because Atlanta Thrasher has a thing for coming over to your house and delete your Animal Crossing save data.
Yeah.
But, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to Miss Jessica Hanson. And the first question we would have is, if you don't mind, please tell us about yourself.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much for having me on M3 and everything. Mr. Hall of Fame, always connecting and having good conversations and keep in touch, even when things going on this fall was a little crazy. So I know y'all are in California. I am in Tennessee, near Nashville. So definitely always lived in the South. I'm originally from Alabama. I moved to Tennessee in like 2012 to do a PhD in African American literature, actually. Then I switched and I had taught community college for like 4 years. Then I switched and got an EDS, really big on culture and learning about psychology in different communities. My dad had been a therapist, but my mom was huge on history and learning about other people in society and not just people that look like you. So that was always big for me. And going to my friends' events and learning from their families, churches, all of that. My best friend, she's Hispanic, and my other best friend was Black. And so I always went to all their events and learned from them. And my grandpa worked at a museum, so I'd always go to like the indigenous festivals and stuff. So, and being from Alabama, not always the greatest background in terms of obviously race. And my mom grew up in the 50s and 60s there in near Anniston, Alabama, where the civil rights movement, bus bombing, all of that happened right there. So that was a huge thing she always emphasized to me was learn about other people, learn about where they come from, and listen. So that's what I'm focusing on now. I've taught now since 2011, and I'm going back and getting my PhD in public oral history. So that is my biggest interest is learning about other people and listening to their stories. So sometimes I'm a little timid, ironically, even though that's what you said first was tell us about yourself. That's usually not my forte or what I want to do.
No, I understand. Like it can be a little intimidating, especially when you're engaging into like another one's culture and you don't want to say anything that will sound offensive because usually what happens is the intent versus the impact is totally different.
Right.
You know, you may have good intent, but the impact is just going to go sour. And it's not really your fault, but we always have to just be mindful because we do live in a society that if you say some of the slightest things, somebody's going to get offended and somebody will be very sensitive into that. But,
exactly.
But, you know, what you're doing is definitely like, you know, commendable. And I just encourage you to pursue that passion.
Hit the horn for Jessica. Hit the horn for Jessica. We got to hit the horn. Come on.
Always, man. And I'm ready. Oh, you know, was it loud? Hold on. I don't think it was loud enough. Let me try this one more time. There we go. Okay. I got you, Jessica. We're going to hit the horn, man, you know?
Keeping us up. I know Central Time. We're on 10:30 almost. So I'm like feeling my age at this hour, unless I'm adrenaline rush grading. But this is a weekend. And got a little break this time. So
That's good.
Good energy, good vibes.
And everybody, please definitely get the likes up. I mean,
yes,
so
like
far, you know, we got 8 likes and, you know, 7 watches, but that's good though. Like, you know, keep it up. Share the videos to your friends, you know, do whatever you can. But definitely, thank you so much for y'all tuning in, chat. You guys are amazing. Okay, Mr. Best in the World, do you have any questions that you want to ask Jessica?
No, I don't per se. I just want to say that you know, it's fascinating, you know, and I just really love her story and just how she got into African American studies, her passion for it. It made me feel like, you know, as a Black man, I need to do more.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like, hold on, I gotta research a little more. I mean, I am up to date and up to par with a lot of things, even in our history and in our past. And that's why the conversations me and Jessica have had have been very, very they've been very forthcoming. I've learned a lot, I've shared a lot, and they've been very positive and helpful. And I truly appreciate, you know, her as just a great, you know, person just to network with. on a business level and also on a personal level too. You know, and a lot of times when you network, you know, sometimes people have different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, you know, they're like, hey, I only want green M&Ms. So you get all different types of people. You know what I'm saying? Some people just want you to do all different types of things, and they have different requests before you interview them. And remember, one time somebody asked us to pay them. Remember that? Somebody was like, we got to pay them.
Oh, if I could just take a trip down to memory lane.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know what? I'll keep this real short and discreet, right? Because I'm not going to air that person out. But long story short, that person, they came and she gave her, you know, her support, which I appreciate that. But I would have never thought she was a professional woman, as far as a business person, until she recorded like a ridiculous price of $1,000 and up. So I was like, hey, look, we have a lot of people online who will be more grateful to get interviewed and have their business and their jobs getting shouted out. So thank you so much, kindly, but we will have to pass. But anyways, we're gonna get back to you, Jessica, because
and like I was.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, like I was sharing. Oh, I'm sorry. Like I was sharing. You know, just couldn't do any of that craziness. And she was very forthcoming, very honest, and very transparent. You know, just on all levels, and I definitely appreciate that. You know, and that's what we need. That's what we need to have. You know, just overall, just as people in communication. You know what I'm saying? Communication needs to be clear and consistent and direct and positive. You know what I'm saying? At all times. So, you know, I just want to tell Jessica, thank you, Jessica. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. So, let's get to the second question. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pulling that up right now. So, what are your hobbies? Well, your interests and hobbies.
Okay.
You kind of, well, if you have more, you know, interests, like, you know, feel free to share. If you have any hobbies.
Yeah. So I definitely have a few interests and hobbies. I teach, and so I do what I love, but which is talking about history. I teach English right now at HBCU at TSU in Nashville. So I definitely love that. But when I'm off work, when I'm not doing nerdy research, reading everything, I still do all that, just even on my free time. All my students make fun of me. They're like, man, this is what you do when you're off. So I go visit like graveyards and go look at historical markers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I'm always researching obscure history and kind of, if I go on tours, asking people like what the real history is, why they're like either whitewashing or hiding something, and always trying to get to the root or the truth of things. And then I definitely am an animal rescuer. So I have some cats. I'm not gonna say how many, and they all have like some little issues. They have heart murmurs. One of them has what some people don't know, but it's really like, I guess, what you would consider feline AIDS. And so all of them have something. They found the sucker house. They all know where to come. I won't deny them a spoiled living space. So they're definitely my kids. I don't have kids, so my animals are like my kids. Have a little mini zoo with cats and lizard and fish.
Wow.
And then travel is another big hobby. Don't get to do it enough just because of teaching all the time, but paid off debt and stuff. So definitely is a bucket list once this COVID thing really hopefully gets under wraps.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. And I want to also put out like a fun fact, because we forgot to kind of like mention how we even got introduced to you in the first place.
Yeah.
And, you know, I want to shout outs to like, you know, Mr. Al Braveheart Burks, however you want to, you know, call his name. I know
Atlanta
he's watching.
Brave, Atlanta Brave,
Atlanta Brave. We're going to call him Atlanta Brave. But yeah, we definitely want to, I said Atlanta. I meant Al Brave. Yeah. So we definitely want to shout him out, you know, because if it wasn't for Atlanta Brave, sorry, if it wasn't for Atlanta Brave, like, you know, we wouldn't have had the pleasure to like meeting you. So we definitely appreciate your brother for that, and I'm glad that we're having this interview.
Yeah, definitely. I went to all the way from middle school with him in Alabama, Aladdinburg. So Love him. I know he's got the cool guy nickname now, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I hear you. Well, let's see.
I'm gonna have to send you this this Instagram channel that I watch, Jessica. It's called Cats Really Exist.
oh,
I love it because I love animals. I grew up with animals too. My family's also from the South. They're from North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. They all like are in that area. I have like tons of family down there on both my mom and dad's side. So and with that being said, you know, I just love animals, just love them. And the videos are so cool because it's like you get to see the cats in like different elements. And like this is one video where like the guy's telling his cat, he's like, no, he's like, you're not eating right now. And the cat goes, meow. And he's like, no, you're not eating right now, Mr. Whatever the cat's name is. I think it's called Mr. Miggles or whatever. And so then the cat puts his head down, and then the cat looks back at him. He's like, no, look, I'll feed you at a different time. I'm gonna feed you. It's not even 12 o'clock yet. And the cat meows at him again. And he's like, you're not getting fed until 1 o'clock, maybe 2. And the cat just keeps looking at him with like these old just like sad eyes.
Yeah.
Like he just really wanted food. And it's just amazing like how the animals just really understand, you, and they understand your emotions. They understand when when you're feeling happy, when you're feeling sad. They understand all of that, and they're definitely a great resource of comfort and just to just make your life better. You could be having a hard day, the animal comes up to you and they're just so full of love, and like you forget what happened. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't even trip over it no more. So yeah, I love animals, completely love them.
yeah. I was gonna say the guy's first mistake was thinking he was gonna tell the cats what to do or what to change on their routine. Cats really think they run the roost, and they pretty much do.
Yeah. Unfortunately for our birds, like, they don't show us much love unless it's like they're really hungry and they need, like, for us to feed them. But yeah, what my birds will usually do is, like, the moment I get home, start chirping real loud. And then as soon as I take a peek to like look at them, they'll fly towards the cage because they want me to let them out. So, usually I try to let them out on the weekends. I forgot to let them out like today because I was busy. So, they might not be mad. They might be a little bit mad at me tomorrow though. But I will let them out so they could kind of fly around the house. But and I have like 11 birds, by the way. So they all have their own personalities, and yeah, I'm a bird lover, but they're fun, regardless. And we have like, our Braves. So Atlanta Braves. Let's see. What it do, classmate? Glad to see you on the K&R, which is knowledge and relationships again. Hope all is well and everyone is spitting that great knowledge from this featuring platform. And then
I'm glad you're watching, Al, too, because I was trying to call you, bro, to make sure you was watching, man. So I'm glad you are watching. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he says, great platform. That auto spell messed me up. And then Atlanta Thrasher says, he was supposed to feed me 3 days ago. She says, yay, welcome, our brave hearts. Well, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but and Atlanta Thrasher are in the building. Yes, both ATLs are in the building.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get to the number 3 question. All right, so as an educator, what changes need to be made in the education field?
Yeah, so I definitely can speak to this because I'm still in education, but in a very different aspect now. I originally, like I said, taught community college for 4 years in both Alabama and Tennessee. And then I taught K through 8, both special needs or teaching exceptional learners, as they call it now, history and English. And now I'm back teaching at the university level. But over all 3 of those, I would say that most certainly people who have never taught should not be making decisions about students of any grade level, because that is the biggest issue. People trying to tell teachers how to change curriculum, how to create lessons that are engaging or not. how to discipline children when they've never set foot in a classroom, or maybe they've set foot in a classroom for 5 minutes as like an observer, but they don't have the relationship building with the students. They don't learn about their family lives. They don't learn about where they came from that made them act out a certain way, or what deficiencies they have, right? They just see like a snapshot, and then they're like, I'm gonna make a decision about this entire district or this entire state. And that's such a problem, such a huge problem still. And of course, there's way more autonomy teaching in the college classroom, but there's still bureaucracy and funding issues and all that, right? Because education is so important. People don't appreciate us, but not like a woe is me, but literally no career could happen, right, without education. And that, people always say, oh, nobody can get anywhere without a college degree, which is crazy, right? There's so many successful people that don't have a piece of paper. But right, I do feel that even if it's self-education, reading, right, educators can be moms, educators can be librarians. So I feel like there's so much, right, just changes that need to be made in that aspect about who is making the decisions about what goes on in the classroom, or even homeschool, right? What goes into a curriculum.
I do have a question. Do you believe, like, and especially, I mean, Black people as a whole, but especially Black men, do you believe that there's certain stigmas and certain things that are thrown at Black youth, especially Black men, when it comes to education, where they could be either not just held back, but certain things are just not happening for them, and they just feel basically left out,
Definitely.
When it comes to just education, and it just comes to them, being, respected and being loved,
Definitely, there are huge stigmas. And again, just part of my background, I will basically say I only taught white students, quote unquote, in part of my time at community college in Alabama. After that, since I've been in Nashville, I've taught predominantly Black and then Latino students here in Nashville, or Madison, all the different locations around the area where I'm at. So I had like a firsthand experience with this, and I can definitely see how many are targeted in the classroom, whether it's for their race, whether it's for just sex in general, right? A lot of people think like boys are just bad, quote unquote, or they, mischievous. But then definitely my time teaching exceptional learners, that was right, like triple fold with that. So if it was a boy of color, and if it was a boy with special needs, right, then it's like everything goes out the window. Oftentimes people have very low tolerance of them, low patience. And like, I'm a huge person, and I had to learn this as an educator, right? You have to not make assumptions about any student. You have to not make assumptions about what they can learn. It's all about standards. You don't drop your standards, you drop like your expectations in terms of where a student came to you from. So that doesn't mean they can't learn. That just means they came to you from a different location in their brain or in their home life or whatever it may be. So I think that's where it makes the difference. Really, to me, that's where it made the biggest impact, was making relationships. Because if a student doesn't trust you, if a student can't relate to you, and not even from like a racial perspective, right? But like, if you are not open, if you're not comfortable, right, being real with them, or really listening to them and telling them your story, then they're not ever gonna do well in the classroom. So it's just as much the teacher's fault as it can be the student's fault. But there's a lot that goes into that with parents too. So it's a full scale relationship. But I don't teach K through 12 anymore, but that was a huge issue. Teaching K through 8 was if a parent wasn't on board, or if a parent thought either their child did no wrong, or a teacher was whatever, right? If there wasn't a full circle commitment relationship, then it was not going to work. So, and that was very hard, right? Teaching charter schools, often you might have 25 to 33, 35 kids in a class. So that's like an art form, trying to bond with everybody and their parents and everybody meshing.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that's a lot, but
Sorry.
no. But
No. That's
that's
great.
good.
That's
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
No, like a lot, like in a good way. You know, it just just staying active and just doing what you're doing. Oh, hold on. Let me read this. I know my kid's parents. That boy does wrong. Man, yeah, laugh Thrasher, man. He's always funny.
That's he was really funny on the lady stream too.
Hmm.
But I appreciate all his comments. I mean, that's like rare though, honestly. Like I would say, not trying to be whatever, but I would say probably like 70% of the kids' parents thought they did do that wrong. And that was a huge
Yeah.
issue, right? Because like I
Mm.
find like the best kids at home, they might act out at school. And the worst kids at home might be angels. Cause like I don't know. It's like a
Mm.
weird dichotomy. So if they're really good with their parents, they might act out at school because that might be the only way they know they can get away with something. Or if they act out at home, then they might have some sort of structure at school. It's usually flip flop.
Mm.
So
Okay.
it's kind of
Okay.
funny, but yeah, it's important too what he said to acknowledge the kids do wrong. I know that was a huge issue in my family. My grandmother and I would even say my mom, if she's watching, she might get mad. Whatever. They like had a bias for boys, and so they let them get away with more, and it was detrimental to my brother and uncle, I would say, because I just feel like they got away with a lot and got a lot of exceptions made for them. I feel like everybody needs to be on the same wavelength. While I
Yeah.
said teachers need to meet kids where they are, I feel like parents, I mean, they have to have some boundaries, and especially if you have multiple kids, that you just
Hmm.
cannot show favoritism or let them think, oh, they don't do anything wrong, and then they go out in the
Yeah.
world, and that's unrealistic. They're gonna have a hard wake up call.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Because
always
kids
I
they
always talk
pick it
about
up.
that. I always talk about like listen, sometimes I mean, listen, they are beautiful, sweet, loving kids, but they are sometimes demon seeds. Okay, demon seeds exist. Okay, all
Yeah,
right, don't be fooled. All right, they ain't make the omen for no reason. Demon seeds exist. Okay, so when you got a little demon seed, make sure that you put them in check, and hopefully they can turn into an angel. Because if you don't, that little monster is gonna turn into a real big monster, and
right.
you're gonna have a whole bunch of trouble on your hands. Then you're gonna have to be going to court and doing all types of stuff to just get the
Exactly.
person to act right. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So save yourself that trouble and just make sure you're doing the right job to begin with.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Like I said, you doing what you're doing, and that's good. It's a good way to identify it. Because I didn't really think about it like that. It's still like, because it's like no matter what, it's like okay, like are you the good kid or the bad kid? You know what I mean? I guess good, like in the class, but then it's like it's still bad, like if you're at home. But I don't know. It's
I
just
might
something to
not
think
should
about.
have said it like that either, because I know sometimes we get in the habit in society now of like boxing everything in, and I don't think anybody's all good or all bad, right? I mean, unless
Yeah.
you're like Hitler. But even with him, looking at like history, I mean, they said that like he was sexually assaulted. He didn't, he had like this issue with like women and Jewish women because of stuff his mom did. So you never know where somebody's backstory came from, what their psychological issues might have been, what made them how they are. So I actually always like to look at the villains and see like what made them the way they are. Because I don't think anybody is all good or bad.
Yeah.
I
Every
always
villain
said,
has
I
an
always say
origin
people have.
to a story.
Oh,
Right.
go ahead, MP, I'm sorry.
No, I just said like every villain has an origin to his or her story. So yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
As I
But
always
what
say,
you
there's
say?
no such thing as nice people. You know what I mean? Nice people or this type of person, that type of person. People have good characteristics and bad characteristics.
Hmm.
And we all are flawed in certain ways, and we all need love and understanding in certain ways. And just because you like ketchup, I may like mustard. That don't make me a bad person.
Yeah. I don't know. I consider myself to be a good person though. You know what I mean? I think I'm like one of like the sweetest guys that you'll know. But it doesn't really matter. I'm just misunderstood. Nah. But number 4. How important is addressing social justice in our society?
Hmm. I really feel like it is like my like moral obligation with as shitty as most white people have been in history. Like, just being real.
Wow.
Just
I
especially
like,
like,
yeah.
like I said, I'm from the South, so it's like, and not just the South, right? But it's definitely still ongoing. It's just a lot more hidden, sinister now. It's not so out in the open. So
Mhm.
I make it like my goal in life to always talk about that, right? To always talk about injustices, to address like what is going on immediately in history, but also address things and how they've been talked about again in a biased, whitewashed fashion and in the past, and try to make good on that, or at least acknowledge it, because I think that's what so many people's issues are now. They're like, well, it wasn't me. My ancestors weren't privileged. My ancestors weren't rich. I didn't do anything, but like your literal skin color, like you could have been the poorest white person ever, but you still, if you walked into a certain place, would have been treated differently, right, than people of
Yep.
color. So it's still privilege. They can't grasp it. I know, like my grandmother, she grew up in the Great Depression, 1931, and was like so poor, but she still had privilege just because of the color of her skin, that her counterpart, a person of color, would not have had. So I definitely address it, but I have learned, I always learn from my students, again, whether it's K through 12. And I always, at the end of every semester, some teachers do it, I think, just to like check a box, like, oh, I got to do this. If you're in college and you have to do those evaluations at the end or whatever. And I always ask them to do it because I really want to change myself, my curriculum, whatever I'm doing, because I don't want to be a detriment to society or my students in future. So I'm like, whatever y'all learned, if there was something I did that was offensive, or if there's something you think I should cover, shouldn't cover, should change up. And so one of the things the last semester they told me was, because I teach at a HBCU, and they were like, we know a lot of our history, and they were like, so it's not that we don't want you to talk about what happened, and we appreciate, that you talk about this with like people in your community, like the white community, right? But like also ensuring that you're not just talking about travesties, tragedies that happen, right? Also highlighting like all the amazing things that people of color have done, and and what they're capable of doing still, right? The inspiring things that are potential opportunities. And so I definitely incorporated that this semester. And so again, I continue like learning. I'm always open. I have no ego around that. Like it's stressful, and I do it every semester to myself. Like this lady that makes the Cengage book publishing company, she's always like, oh, just copy your class over from last semester. And I could do that, right? It'd be so easy. But I like to change it to see like, oh, what did or didn't work for the students, or if I'm really big on putting like current topics in. So like, if I have something planned, but then some big, huge event comes up, either politically, historically, whatever, we're going to pause and talk about it. Like we talked about when the Haitian refugees, what happened at the border that day, instead of talking about whatever we had scheduled to talk about. And I mean, they even talked about like the Chappelle controversy the other day, because I had some trans students in class. And so we talked about, right, people didn't all agree in class either. And that's a big thing, is talking to them about things that they're uncomfortable with on purpose. And I think I talked to Mr. Best in the World Hall of Fame about this, is like I really emphasize that as an English writing teacher, but focus on history, is that you have to look at opposing viewpoints, even if you don't agree like vehemently, right? There was so many things I didn't agree with the last presidential representative. I'm not even gonna call him that. But I still looked at his speeches, made sure I knew what was going on, was aware, because you can't say you disagree with something if you don't know anything about it. And you also might not fully disagree with it, right? You might just like have little things that you disagree with. So you can't write a great argument, say a great speech, give a good, debate performance unless you know both sides. So anyway, but again, I definitely think it's important to address social injustice in our society, but I've learned to do it especially working with people of color in a nuanced way, because I never want to be at all. I'm not a know-it-all because I don't know everything about their experiences, and I never want to be like a white savior. So I definitely want to learn from them and change whatever I'm doing. If I would never want to hurt their experience.
Okay. I want to read these comments real quick, and then I have something to ask you too, though, about that. And also, by the way, the HBCU is, for those who don't know, the acronyms are the Historical Black College University, and I want to touch on that in a minute. But Atlanta Thatcher says, it was worse when I was a kid, but where I lived is way better now. I'm actually a white minority in my hometown. And Blaze Brown, thank you for tuning in, Blaze. Definitely get the likes up, everyone. Excuse me.
Definitely.
I like the idea of talking about current events in classroom. Excuse me. Thanks, Jessica. And so I do have a question, right? So in the universe, because I know you say you teach like in the HBCU, right? And in the classroom where you teach, right? Because sometimes, as a teacher, right? Well, I'm not a teacher, but when I'm listening to teachers, I don't know, for some reason, my mind still goes into like, oh yeah, she's still teaching little kids, but I can still have to resensitize my thing. I'm like, oh no. She's still teaching, like, she's teaching, but she's teaching adults, right? And so for you that's teaching like in a black college, around with black folks, are there any challenges or are there any fears, like when you're mentioning these topics? Like when you're talking about the Dave Chappelle, like an example, because there's a whole bunch of controversy, with the trans, America and Dave Chappelle and all that, and you're educating some like the black some or the majority of the black students. What goes on through your mind, like as you're teaching, when you're in the moment of doing that?
Well, I mean, I try to be very flexible, first of all. Like I said, like if I have something planned for that day, I'm just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And it's still important, right? We're going to talk about whatever genre, prepare for whatever essay, but we're going to pause and talk about, what y'all's feelings are about this moment in history or about what just transpired last night or whatever. So a lot of times I just want to hear from them, right? Like it's not like a planned speech or like a lesson plan. And that's why I love teaching higher education. That is not something that's like looked down upon highly in K through 12. Like you can't come up off the curriculum, right? Because if you do, like it's going to get them behind. It's not according to the state, whatever. They have to pass these tests, and that's what they're focused on. I feel like that's why there's such a problem in education, right? There's not enough discussion. There's not enough hearing from the students. And that's why they don't invest a lot of times in their own education, because they're like, I mean, it's just like, got to go, like little robots. And they don't get to pause and actually like cope with whatever's going on in society. But yes, to answer your question, I hope I wasn't going around it. I definitely am very careful about what I say, how I say it. What you said, ironically, about working with kids versus working with adults. I put that in quotes, adults, because I teach like freshmen, and all of them are not, right? Some of them are returning, some of them are adults. But predominantly this semester, I have a lot of younger kids because many of them took a semester off or a year off due to COVID. So, right, they missed a ton of education already because a lot of them, they told me outright, because they have a relationship with me, like, yeah, I just laid up in the bed, turned my camera off and went to sleep, or I was whatever. One of them wrote one of her narrative essays about like, she told her mom she was doing homework, but she was really just like binge watching Grey's Anatomy on Netflix the whole year. So like,
oh wow,
they missed a lot, right? And if their parents were at work, if they had no accountability, right now they come into college and they're totally ill prepared. And not only that, but a lot of the expectations to get into colleges dropped because they wanted to give everybody an equal playing field, right? With COVID, like no ACT, no SAT. That's good and bad, right? Everybody gets the opportunity to go to college, but then some people were truly not like where they needed to be to get there. So then it's been a huge wake-up call. And again, I really emphasize like students with special needs, right? Because that, even though people don't know or don't think about that a lot, they still are entitled to IEPs. and services accommodations in college. So I have students who right now this semester, they're very upset. Not only are they maybe first generation students, but they're going through COVID still, or they're away from home for the first time ever in a new state. So it's just like a lot that they're dealing with. And we had to have real life, I call auntie conversations because I'm not a mom. So the other day they were complaining about stuff. They were like, we really got to come to class during homecoming week. Because of course, again, like M3 mentioned, HBCU, historically Black college university, that's a huge thing during homecoming week, right, for them. And totally different than a PWI, predominantly white institute. And I definitely want to emphasize and always respect culture and their history. But some of them, right, they weren't going to like the cultural oration, right, the historical celebrations. They just want to party and didn't want to come to class and like trying to do the cool stuff, which is fine. But I was like, I know y'all are partying. I know you're doing stuff, going to stuff. I was like, but you're going to have to balance that because you are also in academics. You're here, some of them on a scholarship. Some of them you can tell have never held a job because they don't want to turn their work in on time. They don't want to come to class on time. I was like, if you do that at a job, they will replace you, right? This is your career right now. So I have a very fine line, right? Because I'll be careful about what I say and don't want to offend on a cultural, racial perspective, all that. But I also tell them like real life skills and we have like real life talks because they still are. I mean, ultimately, some of them are like kids. They're 17, 18. I have one 16-year-old. I guess he did AP classes. So he's in college really early. So, I mean, I know people think of college kids as adults, but they still need to learn. And we can't assume that they know everything coming in. Then I think the expectations sometimes are so high to get in college, right? But then to get them through college is also important. And so I really try to tell them things that nobody told me, right? That I just had to find out the hard way. I even had professors who were like really rude. They would just like, not ever want to hold office hours with you. They would like talk down to you in class, try to embarrass you, lock you out if you were late, stuff like that. Like, I feel like that's unnecessary. Just like talk to them. Maybe they never had anybody tell them about professionalism, etiquette, stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you, and one last question before I get to, one last of my personal questions, but do you ever get, a lot of pushback, from African-American students? Because
what do you mean by pushback, I guess?
So the term of pushback is like, okay, let's say like an example, you're teaching like an African-American student, but this African-American student doesn't really want to learn, but then like they'll try to say, well, you're not my Black teacher, so how can you teach me about something that, my parents are like, well, know more than you? Have you ever had like those type of arguments or situations?
So I have never really had like an argument. Most of the time, more of my students are like, oh, you really like care about this topic, or you're really like passionate about this. They'll ask me like, why did you want to work at a place like this? Or like, why do you care about this? But they never like come at me like, like I'm unwilling to learn or thinking like, I don't know what I'm talking about or anything like that. I've never really had a student so far the whole time I've taught college, be disrespectful. I remember the very first semester I ever taught, 2011, I had a very older gentleman, a Black gentleman. He was a preacher in our town. And he point blank asked me out loud in class in front of everybody, like, why do you care about all this? Like, you're from Alabama, you're white or whatever. So. Okay. So that's a little bit of pushback. But then when he got to know me and, learn what I was passionate about and stuff, it just wasn't an issue. But I have, even colleagues and stuff ask me that too, right? When I taught K-8, like, why do you care about this? Why did you go to school for like African-American lit or whatever? So I've definitely had people ask questions, but never after they get what I care about and why I care about it. Then after that, they didn't like fight or argue or anything like that. It's just more of a question or curiosity usually.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I'm glad you didn't have like no dangerous minds stuff going on.
Right. But I also am not.
You don't want to learn from your teacher. Get out of here. I'm glad you have none of that craziness.
I'm also not like a white savior teacher who's like in front of them trying to act like I know everything. I'll point blank tell them like, I don't know. This is I'm gonna stay in my lane. This is your subject. You tell me about what you think, right? So I like stick with the literature, stick with the history, but I don't even pretend to try to know about like their culture unless it's something someone has personally shared with me that I can say, well, this is a story someone told me from their perspective.
Have you ever watched the show, Jessica? Everybody Hates Kris?
I haven't got to watch that one yet. No, I watched
it's loosely based on the life of Chris Rock. Shout out to Chris Rock. Hopefully he's doing better with COVID. The show basically is about his life, and he had like this one teacher, and she's always like, "Oh, you'll make it. You survived the ghetto. You'll be fine." Like she always says it to Chris, because like the rest of his class is like, they're like white or like different races, and like she always points him out and always makes like these offhanded comments to him, and he always has this face like, "Huh? Like what?" Like she's like, "Oh, it's okay. I'm not gonna be hard on you this semester because I know crime has gone up in your neighborhood." And he's like, "What?" He always says like something offhand, like that's crazy. But the crazy part about it is like some of the stuff that she's saying, even though it's off kilter, it's not that it's completely false. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like some hidden truth in what she's saying. It's just the way that she's saying it, and the fact that it's coming from her, it just completely is like, wow, okay.
So nonchalant, like.
Yeah, it's so nonchalant, but it's like that is kind of true. But like, maybe you shouldn't be saying that either.
Like it shouldn't come out of your mouth ever.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but thank you for your, the level of compassion, But yeah, shout outs to Chris Rock. Let me get to the number 5 question. What are your favorite books or literature, or both?
Okay. So I definitely, like I said, grew up. My mom was like a complete book nerd. She had a huge library in her house. And like for the summer, my mom was like, what you call like agoraphobic. She didn't like to leave the house. So like pretty much the only place we ever went for family vacations was like, barely ever out of the state, Alabama. So we went to like Six Flags one time, but most of the time it was to the library or like to a park or something like that. She just doesn't like to get very far mileage way away from the house. So like my vacation, if you can say, right, has always been books to learn from places and people. So I started out, I was like a weird kid. I always like morbid stuff, like about the Titanic or the Donner Party or any kind of like historical, whatever, odd stuff. But then, of course, like I said, I continue wanting to learn about other cultures, other history. So I think like my favorite author probably ever, hands down, is Zora Neale Hurston. So anything by her, most recently her Barracoon book that was released recently, wasn't released when she was alive, about her time interviewing as an anthropologist. He was like the last Black man illegally brought on a slave ship in the transatlantic slave trade and to Alabama. And then he was one of the freed men who made the town Africa Town there in Alabama, Mobile. So that is like a huge influential author and book that I really enjoy. Also, I'm really big into learning about like women's history, because that was something, again, I was not taught ever anything about that in history books until college, and I had to take a women's history class. So there's a book that I teach my students called Cassandra Speaks. One of my friends put me on by a lady named Elizabeth Lesser. And it talks about like if stories that we have all been told culturally were told by women, how the world would be different. So like Pandora's box, this woman, right? She opens the box and this one woman let all the evil out into the world. Or like Adam and Eve, right? She got the apple, she influenced him. She got the snake on him. So like, what if they flipped that, right? What if a man did all the quote unquote evil stuff? Or what if, women were sometimes the heroes versus the one that need this man to sweep them off their feet and save them from the dragon and the castle and all that. So it's real. I'm really interested in things like that. And then learning with that about important historical women, like Henrietta Lacks. I definitely like learning about her story, both as a Black woman, but also her female perspective, right? She had her feminine needs when she went in to get treated for cancer totally appropriated. They stole her cells, and literally everything in the world, right, about medicine from Johns Hopkins came from her. So I'm really interested in that. And that's still like a huge controversial thing, right? It was made into an Oprah movie, but then just now her family just finally sued the people that did that to their family decades ago. So
Oh wow, okay.
Shout out to Lance Thrasher. Thank you for supporting us, brother. We truly appreciate it. And yes, we love you too, man.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's funny, as far as books and literature, because just because you shared me certain things that you were doing as far as books and literature, and I was blown away. I was like, what? Like, you're doing all this? Like, it was crazy. I was like, oh my, like, man, she got a ton of stuff that she's like researching and doing. Like, it was amazing. I was amazed by it. And if I offended anyone by the everybody loves Kris comment, I do apologize. So
no.
I'm good. Okay, cool. I'm making sure. So yeah, I think research is definitely important. It's definitely important. And I think books and literature is definitely important for everybody, not just children, but for everybody, because when you read literature, it allows you to, it really opens your mind to different thoughts and different concepts that are outside of just your own spectrum, because you may think that you're right, or you may think, oh yeah, I know this, or oh yeah, things should be a certain way, or relationships should be a certain way, or I should be a certain way. But you read a book, and that book will change your whole perspective. You know what I mean, on just everything. And it'll really make you question, and also find answers to different things that you feel, or different things that you're thinking. And that's why literature is important. Hold on. And that's why I think it's important also that literature is not tampered with, or censored. I always say that, as we create more social media platforms, I want people to come on and be all types of walks of life. I want them to be, regular people who are cool, but then I also want them to be people who have different views, whether it's different views on race, gender, or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, I want the person that's from the NAACP and fighting for the cause, but I also want the person, who may be affiliated with the Klan somewhat, like, because I just want to see how these people think, And the thing is that when you expose how somebody thinks, one, it could be a learning tool for that person. You can help them. You can help them to grow and be better. You know what I'm saying? So you never shun people away. Never say, oh, even if they're wrong, they could be completely wrong. You know what I mean? But in that process, help them become a better human. Because if they become a better human, oh man, they could definitely change not only their lives, but the people around their lives, them lives. So, always be open to just different aspects of different thoughts. But on that, with that, name your top 5 favorite books. I'll name mine too, but name your top 5 favorite books, Jessica. What are they?
So hard. I was an English major. This is like a sin to say only 5. Okay. So I definitely would say Their Eyes Were Watching God. And then I gotta pick one. Have to say, well, the book I started out with her on, Jodi Picoult, was 19 minutes. So I'll say that. I don't know if it's my favorite of hers, but that's what got me into her.
Okay.
And then anything by Edgar Allan Poe.
I never read any of his stuff. I have to get into him. If you have any recommendations, please send them my way. Please.
Yes. The Cask of Amontillado, The Black Cat, the one everybody has to read, The Raven. They even did that on The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, I remember that episode. Bart was a raven. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. That was a great episode.
Let's see. So hard to pick 5, but I'm gonna try to follow directions.
No, talk about them all. So if you want to pick more, go ahead. We're listening.
No, you're good. I picked 3. So now let me see. Um, so hard to pick two more. So, I mean, I got into this one book in college called Clotel, and it's a fictional book, but it's based on real history, and so it gets into basically it's supposed to be the president's daughter, and it was supposed to be about Thomas Jefferson's daughter, but his slave daughter. And it was like showing how she was looking at the White House, but from afar over this bridge while like slave catchers were chasing her. And her dad was like the most important, most, influential person in the United States, or arguably maybe at that time the world. And she was literally a slave. So it's just the dynamics of America and American history. And anyway, so that will have to be one. And then one more. Trying to think of the last one. Has to be a good one. Because you made me do 5.
Yeah, if you have a hard time, I'm definitely going to have a hard time myself. Because
I know, it's so hard to pick just 5. Trying to think it might sound super dumb, but when I was little, my mom,
cool.
Yeah, my mom always read the one about the train, the one
Thomas
where he
the Train?
says, no, I was older than that. So the one where he says, I think I can.
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah, the little engine that could.
Oh, yes, yes.
Right. Just like to motivate kids, because kids can give up so easily. And so I know that sounds like dumb, but as a child,
No,
that was
it's not
definitely
dumb. No.
my favorite book that got me to stay motivated, to stay pushing. So and definitely, I could still use that to this day. Sometimes we can all use motivation to continue on whatever path you're on, even if it gets difficult.
Look, ain't none of that dumb. Look, I'm almost 40 years old. I'm still throwing some Mary Poppins. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. I would say my 5 would be The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. I'll say that one. Wild at Heart. Holy Bible. NIV version. What else? Oh my gosh, I had the other 2 in my mind. Lord of the Flies, that's another one. And I would say my 5th book would be oh my gosh, I had it right in my mind. I completely forgot. Oh, Game Over by A.Z. Faison. That was a great book too. So all 5 of those are my favorite.
Okay.
When you put me on the spot, I forgot The Alchemist. That's like another all-time favorite, but I didn't read it until I was an adult.
I heard about that book.
That was definitely, it's so good. It goes so deep with it's a journey. So it is about travel, but it's like the journey within yourself and with other people and relationships. So I completely forgot about that. I was trying to think on my feet, and I forgot that was another favorite.
Well, speaking about books and audios, the Law Library audio books and discussion. Oh snaps! Didn't even know the show was on.
Yeah, we here.
Yeah,
Live and direct. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah. If you're new to the Knowledge and Relationships on YouTube, definitely please subscribe to our channel and hit the thumbs up as well too. Though it's all free and it helps build the algorithm up. And then wasn't able to catch the show when my wife was on. Okay. Is this person like your husband? Actually, Jessica, are you married?
No, just boyfriend.
Okay. So that must be somebody else's wife. But yeah. But anyway, so thank you for tuning in to the show. And definitely subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
All right, so okay, this is going to be a tough one, right? Because some books I cannot really say because I'm not trying to get flagged, but
What?
you know, I'll say this though. No, my wife is messed up. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, all right. I know who you are now. Yeah, definitely. Welcome, bro. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Wait till we gonna be flagged. What are you talking about?
No,
I can't say, man. So look, all right, I'm gonna keep it PG on this one, right? So,
oh my God.
I have no idea what you're talking about, y'all. But go ahead, 3.
And anyways, right? So, and no, it's nothing. It's nothing like rated R or anything. But you know, just certain titles, like I can't really say it, right? But
okay,
yeah, I would definitely say like most memorable books because I don't really have much of a favorite. So I will say that the Willie Lynch letter was definitely a memorable book. It definitely taught me the psychology of how to form up slavery and how to turn blacks against each other. Unfortunately, but the other one was. Let me see. I'm trying to remember what it was because I keep forgetting. Oh, other one was Rich Dad Poor Dad. That definitely helped shape up my mindset. Kashima already want to know like what book. All right, fine. I'll say it right. The other one was The Power of the Beat, whatever. Can't say that word. The second book. I'm sorry, not second, but the fourth book is what was the name? It has a certain title. The title was Alpha Male Strategies.
Hey.
And then
I'm reading that right now.
Yeah. And then the other one is see, I can't think of the name of it, right? But it's a volume 2 of his book. And then he also has a money making strategy as well, too. But I don't really to be honest with you, I haven't finished that book. I haven't finished volume 2, and I haven't finished the money making part. And she says, "Wow, that letter was." So, but yeah, those are the books that that I know that I read so far, and those was like very memorable because it taught me like some things. And I have other books that I haven't got a chance to read. Like I definitely wanted to read Dark Psychology. Because I'm just curious about that. I want to know, like, how that works in the human mind. Other books, like I said, unfortunately, I don't remember like the name of the titles. But there's this one book that I did purchase off of Amazon, and it's a long title, but I have to give a shout out to King, right? Because his book is called hold on. You remember the title like Best in the World? It's like The Eyes to the Travel. Something.
I forget the name of it. I'm sorry. Hold on, I'm looking up.
Because I have it with me, but it's like somewhere on my phone. But it's definitely like a good book that I would recommend people to take a look into. So give me about a second. It's somewhere on. I can't even put it up. I'm trying to find my Kindle.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called. Yeah, I was gonna read that. It's called. Hold on.
Okay.
Love and Life Through the Eyes of Travel.
Okay, that's the one. Yes. So
by his name is Mawuli K. Hamotu.
Yeah. Also it's known as King. So follow him on YouTube.
Yes.
Yes. And he said, yes, I was going to read Dark Psychology as well. I think it's a discussion on manipulation. And then because she says, is that the title of the book, Dark Psychology? Yes, definitely it is. There's like a voice. Actually, the Dark Psychology has I think 4 volumes, I believe. But I never got a chance to read that book. Because I want to see okay, in society, a lot of people, unfortunately, they use like different forms of manipulation. And I'm just kind of curious to like know, like, okay, what goes on through a human mind? Like, why people use a lot of manipulation tactics to try to get what they want, and how things like kind of operate. So I don't know. Like one of these days when I get some time, then I might try to dig into that. But yeah, those are my books so far. And let me see. Let me go ahead and pull out the number 6. What's your thoughts so far, Jessica?
I mean, I'm definitely putting down some of those that you said that sound interesting. I'm definitely always interested in psychology. Like I said, my dad is a retired therapist, so I've always been interested in that. And that's one of my degrees is in it's an EDS in culture, cognition, and the learning process. So that's definitely something I'm very interested in, always learning about more psychological pieces.
Yeah, I definitely hear you on that one because yeah, it's definitely fun. It's definitely like very engaging to try to read and just learn into. And I think that will probably help me to like understand society like a little bit more. Um, but yeah. Anyways, though, um, it's time to get into the relationship topics.
Uh-oh.
All right. Now I'm just gonna put the sunglasses on because one, it's already getting bright up in here anyway, stuff. So I gotta protect the eyes. So
Not the sunglasses.
all right, Jessica, get ready though, because well, you already know how knowledge and relationships work. We get down to the spicy questions. But anyways, number 6. Do you believe women should be submissive?
No.
And
No.
yeah, I didn't even get a chance to play my Don yet.
Oh wow.
She was like, nope, like that.
Nope.
All right. And so, wait, actually, hold on. Before I even ask you why, because I know a lot of people they get triggered. Look, we got the blooming Ebony in here though, right? So like she's already ready for this
Shout out to
one.
blooming Ebony.
Mm-hmm. All right. What is your definition of submissive?
So I think that for women to be submissive comes straight from like Christianity techniques or whatever religion people subscribe to, where women are expected to submit to a male, and that assumes a lot, right? First of all, I'm not a lesbian, so just caveat. But
Okay.
I feel like that assumes, right, that all women are in a heterosexual relationship. And that they should be submissive to a male partner, whether they're in a relationship, engaged, married, whatever it is. So that is my first problem with that term of women being submissive. But I don't know if that answered your question entirely.
A little bit, but aren't you submissive when you're at work? Don't you submit to your boss?
Well, yeah, but then again, that is correlating that my boss is similar or should be similar to a partner. He's not paying my paycheck. He's not providing me insurance or benefits, right? So that is definitely a differentiation for me personally.
You saying that your boss not provide? You talking about like just you talking about like your spouse, like spouse, husband,
Right.
boyfriend?
So because you said you're having to be submissive, right, or follow authority at work, but I'm saying if you're correlating that with like a relationship, I don't consider him on the same wavelength as like a boss or an authority figure, because I feel like if you're in a partnership, then you should be a partnership. No one should be above another person.
Let me read this and then I'll give you my intake. Interesting. It's actually feminine. Submitting to masculine leadership. This exists in the same sex relationships as well, too, though. Okay. All right. Thank you, Kris. Here's the thing. My intake is this. Because we always get people triggered with these type of questions, right? But I still kind of look at it like, okay, when it comes to And he says, she's funny, right? Hold on. Blaze says a woman should not submit to a boyfriend, husband level who has integrity, good work ethic, respect, honesty, mutual respect, right? So, and then we also have a guest too, though, which is great. Now, before I want to tell you this, right, my long spiel, I'll give it a short one. When I look at submissive, when I hear the term submissive, right, I look at a term of cooperation. The same way that you cooperate with your boss, the same way that you're cooperating with someone that you look up to, like like your husband or boyfriend. I mean, I still think that still applies to the same way if you have that type of respect, if he shows great leadership, and if he's helped providing in some type of way. But let me go ahead and read this comment, and then I'm going to bring the guest in there. If she ever gets married and divorced, from the way her perspective sounds, she will seek to get child support alimony if it can actually last that long. Okay. But let me go ahead and bring in Braveheart Burks or Al Burks, Atlanta Hawks, yada yada, right? What's up, Al?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Al, what's good, bro? Woo, man. I'm glad
Man,
you're
right
that's
now,
that's my homie.
I'm just like lost for words because the Braves are going to the World Series. So
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so just like I just just lost for words.
Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, Al, like anything that you have to say? Or you want to
Oh
say
yeah,
any
man.
questions?
Yeah. I just want to send a shout out to everybody up on here, including my classmate once again. Welcome back, Jessica. And I know it's been a minute since I've been on here, and thanks for having me.
Yeah. Anytime, man. Like, definitely like, shout outs to you, Al, because, like I said before, you are the reason why Jessica is here, like on this interview, why we're getting to know her as well. And, her joining like, and being part of like the ladies like night live streams as well. So I know it's been a minute since we last seen Jessica, but we definitely want to say, we're so happy to get to know her and to meet her.
Oh,
And this is because of you.
oh, yo, well, hey, thank you, man. I mean, I had to, reach out to her, because, she's a, a good friend of mine, and, with the knowledge that she has, I figured that, she could be, pretty helpful to, this platform. So that's, one of the main reasons why, I reached out to her because of that, and I'm glad that y'all, enjoy her, enjoy having her on, you know, knowledge and relationships.
Yeah, thank you so much, bro.
Definitely. Do you have
No
any
problem.
questions for her, Al? Or
Oh no, not at all, not at all. Though I'm just here to for moral support.
definitely.
Hey, that's what's up, man.
Let me let me let me address some. Oh, go ahead, Jessica. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying thank you to Aladdin. Thanks again for putting me on, getting in touch with M3 and Mr. Hall of Fame, Mr. Best in the World. It's really been a pleasure, and I know like I've been not so active this I say semester again because I'm teaching, but a lot of different crazy things happen this semester. So that's why. But definitely be tuning in more often. Next semester should be totally different.
Definitely.
Okay,
Definitely.
well,
Hey,
definitely.
anytime, classmate. Anytime. Though, like I said once again, though, I mean, you good people, so hey, anytime.
Yeah, definitely for
I don't
sure.
know. They don't. I think the submissive question made them question. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wait, I'm about to address some comments too. I'm about to definitely
I was
address some
gonna say
comments.
there's lots of comments. I wanna.
Yeah,
I wanna ask
I'm about to address these too. And Al, thank you, man, for just everything. Thanks for being there as a brother, man. Thank you for bringing her to a platform. And the personal things that's going on with me personally. Thank you for
Right.
being there, man, and supporting me and being there, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.
Al is one of my friends where if I call him, I know he actually gonna pick up the phone. He picks up the phone more than my family members, man, honestly. And and more than my relatives. And he's always there and supportive, man. And I definitely love you, brother. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, brother. Same to you as well, though, too, and Mario as well, though, too. And Mario, I just want to tell you, man. I mean, since day one, though, brother, you've always, been there for me too, and and you never switched up on me. You nor Darrell, you know what I mean, or should I say, Mr. Best in the World. Excuse me, though, I'm just, kind of like, twisting up my words a little bit. I'm just, a little nervous on the platform. But anyway,
Yes,
but
sir.
again, I mean, I just want to tell you, I'm
Darrell's a good
sorry.
guy. No, so Darrell, he's a good guy too.
Yeah, Darrell's a good guy too. Yeah, but of course, though, you and Mr. Best in the World, though. I mean, man, I just want to tell you guys I do appreciate y'all for being since day one, though. I mean, just being real and just again being up for me, and then just just being not even as friends, but just being as my brothers, man, and then just man, just not just being real, just not switching up, and I thank y'all for that, though, because it's not as many real people in this world as it used to be, or back in our people days. You know what I'm saying? And again, though, I mean, man, I just I'm just very thankful to having people like y'all in my life, though, including you, Jessica, of course, though. So, again, though, thank y'all for being who y'all are.
Yeah, thank you as well, Al.
All right, thank you, brother. Thank you. Let me address some of these comments, though.
Yeah, but go ahead, get to that, though. Yeah.
Let me address some of these comments.
Where are we gonna go first? Are we gonna go right here, or are we gonna go right here?
No. We address Chris's comments. And thank you, Bloom and Ebony. We appreciate you. But I have to address the law library audio books and discussion comment. You can highlight that if she ever gets married. Listen, we listen, and I mean this with all due respect. We respect everybody's views. We respect everybody's comments. We respect everything that people got to say. But let's not get too personal or disrespectful or offhanded. We want to respect our guests. We want to respect what they're saying and their views. Jessica has her views, and she chooses to live her life the way that she wants to, and we respect that. You know what I'm saying? And we ask that all the comments be respectful of that as well. So let's not jump to assumption. Let's not try to get too personal, hit below the belt. Let's just keep it respectful. You know what I'm saying? Let's just do that.
Thank you.
So
please be respectful.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Let's see. What does she say? Wouldn't your boyfriend be looking for characteristics? And then he says, we both look for mutual respect, nothing forced. Submission will be organic to the right person. And then he says, this is pretty nice to hear, men loving on each other. This is pretty nice to hear, men loving on each other. Okay. Yeah. The love, yeah. And then indeed, I can do that, right? Yes, thank you. What I was going to say was, let me go back to this comment real quick. That's the way how, in my opinion, like submissive supposed to be, right? Like it needs to be organic. I think what a lot of women get triggered is because when you think of Bible terms or whatever, you feel like you have to, it's like a force type of thing. No, but it is a balance, right? When you have somebody that you could definitely look up to and show that respect. Just as and I'm just going to use a Bible reference again, right? I'm not saying everybody believes in the Bible, but just like the Bible says, men got to love their wives, that's what God wants you to do. And in loving your wife, you do certain things as an act of service to make sure like your wife is protected and she's secure. And the same thing with a woman, you want to make sure that you're holding your husband down, you're making sure that he is at peace. That's the art of to me, being submissive, is by working together and, making sure that everyone is on a good note. And I don't know what he said. He says, should a woman get with a man she doesn't respect? Hell no.
No.
Okay.
No.
You should not be submissive to a man that you don't. Here's the thing, right? Naturally, if you go to a comment again, right? Because I like Blaze's comment. We both look for mutual respect, nothing forced. Submission will be organic to the right person. So, if a woman's paired up with an asshole, he's not going to get that respect. She's not going to be submissive to him. There's not going to be no cooperation because now you're looking at this woman that's lesser than you, and you're looking at yourself more as a hierarchy, and that's not even the way how you're supposed to do things. Like I said, you're going back. You got to make sure you love on the partner that you're with.
Let me bring some clarity. I love bringing clarity. I love this type of stuff. Oh man, y'all don't even know.
Actually, does the Bible says that a woman respect a man as Christ?
I know. I love it too. Listen. Both men and women should both come in. The woman should come in already submissive. The man should come already leading. Okay. So men, don't think I'm letting you men off the hook, because I'm not. Okay. You know what I'm saying? As a man, you should come in already leading, already taking care of things, already making sure your lady, you know what I mean, feels loved, she feels safe, she feels secure, and she feels like, you know, you're there to take care of her. As a woman, okay, you should already come in submissive to a man. You know what I mean? None of that back talk, none of that popping your neck and all that other stuff. No man wants to deal with no unruly woman. He just does not. It's a headache. You know what I mean? You want a woman to be submissive and be a part of your program and get with your program and be a part of what you're about. But also she has to bring something to the table as well. You know what I'm saying? She also has to have her own goals, her own dreams, her own drive, her own ambitions. You know what I mean? As a man, you should have that too. You should come in having that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I believe. So men should definitely come in leading, which is not easy, and women should come in being submissive, which is not easy. So both things are not easy to do. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, the reason, you know, when she comes in already being submissive, if that man shows that he's not worthy of her leading him, of him leading her, then yes, she should definitely leave that situation or communicate with him before she leaves. And if it does not change, then definitely leave. You know what I mean? If you can't leave, definitely leave. If a woman doesn't want to be submissive, a man should leave that woman. You know what I mean? She don't want to be submissive. She don't want to be cooperative. She arguing. She's doing all types of stuff. She's sabotaging your relationship with your friends and family, doing a bunch of stuff to get rid of her. Same thing for a man. If you're doing a bunch of craziness and he's being verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, physically abusive, you're doing crazy stuff towards your family and all that, get rid of him. You know what I mean? So it needs to be, they both need to come in doing the roles and respecting and loving each other. That's number one. And then once that person proves that they're not qualified for that, then yeah, move on. If they prove they're qualified, then stay in your role. Stay in your lane. Do what you got to do. Continue to love and respect them and be there. Now, you know, I'm going to address certain things, you know, and it's not to give M3 some pushback, but but you know, I got to say my opinion. We got to have dialogue. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for. You know what I mean? And Jessica, I definitely want you to say your piece as well. I know you've been quiet for a little bit, but I definitely want you to say your piece. Now, with that being said, thank you, Lauren Library. I appreciate it. But yes, with that being said, I also think I don't want no woman looking up to me. Look up to God, your father, your uncles, your grandfathers, or your older relatives, or you know a leader or spiritual leader or somebody like that. Don't look up to me. I don't want you looking up to me at all. You know, that's what I want you to look up to. I want you to submit to me as your man, your lover, your husband, your boyfriend, or whatever else, your companion. That's what I want. I don't want you looking up to me. Don't look up to me. I'm not your father, you know, and I'm not gonna look at you as a mother. Okay, I'm not gonna look at you in that light. You know what I'm saying? So it's equal on both sides. You know what I mean? I want to respect and love you as my woman, but I also want to be respected and loved as a man. You know what I'm saying? And that's my perspective on it. So anybody can comment. I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Sure, there's a comment out here.
Anybody can challenge my thoughts. I'm all ears. You know, I like to verbally, you know, spar and debate.
Yep.
I love it.
Both sides got to equal to make it work.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What you thinking right now, Jessica?
I'm just taking everything in, comments, everyone in live or whatever, because there's a lot of different people in the comments that have said totally opposing viewpoints or similar, but from a little bit different perspectives. I have like a unique perspective. So to address one of the comments earlier, I didn't say anything, but there was a lot of assumption there. And I think that's why I have a problem with the submissive question, because I feel like there's a lot of assumption on both sides with femininity, masculinity, without hearing why people on both sides think the way they do, what they brought to the table, what they brought from a familial perspective, from a psychological perspective, all of that, because all of that matters. So I don't know if the comment was deleted or something earlier. The one about the married. Yeah. So it was talking about, I guess they were addressing me.
Was it this one?
If she ever gets married and divorced, from the way her perspective sounds, she will seek to get child support and alimony if it actually can last that long. So that, again, like, it's just a lot of assumption. First, like, I've had a job since I was 15 years old, so I wouldn't expect anything out of a guy, alimony or otherwise. And then definitely, like, I can't have children. So don't assume all women can have children or want children, or that they would expect a man to pay for something or seek money out of a guy just because they have opinions about not being submissive. So I feel like before you say things about people, you need to know where they come from, or because I haven't said anything other than the word no about the word submissive. So anyway, just to clarify that. And then I like a lot of the different points that Blaze Brown says. Seems like very wise, well-rounded, saying that it's not that all women are totally opposed to submission, but that it has to be balanced, right? And so with past relationships, right, I found that a lot of the guys were not, right? And so I definitely would not feel like I would be submitting to someone who was not on par, didn't have goals, didn't have aspirations themselves, or was not respectful, because I definitely was I mentioned this on another ladies' night before, but in a abusive relationship, emotionally, verbally. So that is another aspect of it, right? So again, not assuming you know everything about a person before, right, after you've asked their opinion. So I think that's important. And my mom was in a physically abusive relationship with my brother and sister's dad. So I have a lot of background of why I don't believe certain things.
And that really makes sense. I mean, thank you for sharing that again.
Yes, thank you for sharing your testimony. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I remember you did text that in the abusive relationship, so I definitely remember that part. And then it goes to show, right, that you have to understand, like, a person's background. That's why I always ask, like, okay, well, what does submission means to you? What does it come to your mind when you hear that word, being submissive? Because everyone has a different outtake. They have a different story and a different background on that. Someone was like, okay, well, had a great experience. They found a person that they fell in love with. They're married. Things are going well just by their attitude. Others, who put their trust in men, got let down or just got ripped apart because there's certain men that, people was with wasn't really the right ones. I don't really call them men, any guy that, put his hands on a woman, I definitely don't condone that at all, and, in other words, you're beyond that. But I'm not going to say that word, just for the sake of the stream, but you know what I mean. I'm sorry. Blaze said, good point, Jessica. People are prejudged as they comment. Okay. And then Kate Marion says, thank you for sharing your experience, Jessica.
Yeah, and Jessica, I definitely have to say, I definitely, have to give you your flowers for just not being closed down. Because with the experience that you shared, a lot of women just would have been closed down. They wouldn't be, they'll be closed down. They'll be shut down. They'll have so many walls up, but you're not like that. And that's a good thing. I'm glad that you haven't let those experiences jade you, and you haven't let that basically take away from, you being the great person that you are. So that's cool. I definitely admire that.
Definitely a huge advocate for therapy.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time. That works. That works. Oh, and I always tell people, always seek help. Don't feel bad about seeking help. Seek help. If you need help, go seek it, please.
Seek help from your friends that you're close to, that you can trust, but also seek help from a professional therapist, someone that can kind of give you the tools that is needed. All right, let's go ahead and jump to the number 7 question, right?
Uh-oh.
So nobody don't be steaming and be in their emotions, you know? But what advice would you give to modern women in the dating game?
So kind of what I just alluded to, right? Don't let your like past familial issues make you have biases towards an entire gender or anyone, right? Before you give someone a chance. But then also, if you do get in a relationship and someone disrespects you ever, don't continue to make excuses. Don't continue to accept, right, less than what you're worth. So like what some people mentioned earlier, right, about it goes both ways. It's a balance. So don't try to like be egotistical, think you're always right. But if you legitimately know that you've been given something your all and you've been mistreated, then do not stay ever. And it's right, much easier said than done. But once you do allow someone to see that they can treat you anyway, then they're just going to continue that cycle and it will never end. Even if they, gaslight and act like, oh, I've changed and please don't, and all the begging and stuff in the world, it's ultimately not going to change. So that's like the best advice I would be able to give modern women in the dating game, right? It's just know your worth. Don't back off of that. That doesn't mean don't show emotions. Don't be open even after you've been hurt, but don't back off of what you know you're worth. Ever.
Okay. I like that. Let me ask Al, right? Al, you still in there?
Yes,
I
I'm
want to ask
here.
him a question. All right, Al, in reverse, right? What advice will you give to men in the dating game?
Can you come back to me on that?
All right, for sure. All right. After
I'm gonna address both. I'm gonna address both.
Okay.
All right. For the ladies, okay? For the ladies, okay? And ladies, if you need to break out a pen and pad, you know what I'm saying? Take this down, write it down. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. For women, one, and I kind of talked about this on our other show, but I'll kind of elaborate a little bit more. Now for women, if you are dating, and and I'm gonna do it by age range. So I'll say from 18 to about 30, yes, date, have experiences, get to know yourself, travel, have fun, do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get past 30, okay, and okay, listen, I've been dating for a while, I've been doing my thing, but I really want to be with somebody, then listen, only mess with men who are husband material. Okay? If he is not husband material, ladies, he has to go. Okay? He does not serve you any purposes. It does not mean you any well. He could be the nicest guy in the world. He can pay for everything. He can do everything. Okay? But if he is not husband material, sisters, he has to go. Okay? Give him the boot. Show him the door. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I know some of the brothers don't like hearing this, but I don't care. Listen, give him the boot, okay? He needs to be husband material. There's no need for you to waste time. You know what I'm saying? He needs to be about something. He needs to be, on his purpose. He needs to be, treating you right, treating you like a queen, and doing everything that he needs to do as a man, okay? And if he's not doing that, then he has to go, sisters. He's got to go. Let him go. It's cool. You will find somebody else that is 20 billion times better than that guy. Trust me, you will. You know what I'm saying? As far as the men, I would say from about 18 to about 34. 34, 35, have your fun. I'm gonna give men a 5 more years of fun than I'll give the ladies. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Just because I know men, are, definitely just where we at in life, sometimes, by 35, we start to realize things a little bit more. And basically our bodies also change during that time too. So from 18 to 34, your body kind of is like the same way. But by 35, your body kind of started to change a little bit. And you got to start doing certain things less and doing more of certain things. It's just a natural fact. It's physics. You know what I mean? Or science or whatever. Now, by 35, brothers, okay? By 35, you need to be looking for your wife. Okay? Looking for wife material. If she's not wifey material, guess what, brothers? She's got to go. Okay? You got to say bye-bye. You got to wave bye-bye to Brittany or to Ashley, whoever. Ashley and Brittany, they got to go. Bye, Ashley and Brittany, bye. Or Maria, whoever. They got to go. They have to go. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is that, you know in your heart that you're looking for true companionship. And, you need to find a woman who is going to basically be, your tag team partner. She's going to be your helper. She's going to be there to basically help you. She's going to be submissive. She's going to do all that, while you're leading and helping her. She's definitely going to do that. So, that's what brothers need to be doing. I know some brothers feel like they could be the old man in the club and all that. No, brother. You can't be the old man in the club. Nobody, especially when you start seeing the gray in your beard. The gray in your beard starts showing, brother. It's time to hang it up, man. It's time to hang it up. But don't think that you have to settle, though. That's for both men and women, too. Don't think once you hit a certain age, you got to settle. Never settle, okay? Keep your standards, your morals, your guidelines, and your boundaries. Keep them intact. You know what I mean? You should have a list already programmed in your mind already. It's for both men and women. Have a list already in your mind already, you know what I'm saying, of, what you're looking for. Have that already ingrained in your heart and in your mind. And don't deviate from this list, okay? You can compromise when it comes to certain things, but on your list, the list of things that you know that you're really looking for, go for it. You know what I mean? If you're looking for, brothers, if you're looking for a Holly Berry type, or you're looking for, I know it's going to sound crazy, M3, but I'm going to say it. You're looking for a Lizzo type. if you like the bigger sisters, you better go find you what you're looking for, okay? Find the spectrum, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally that you're looking for. Same for women. You may like the Denzel type, or you may like, the big boy type. You may want
the
a
Rick
big
Ross.
brother like Shaq or something like that. You know what I mean? Who you said, M3?
I said Rick Ross.
Yeah, you may want a Rick Ross before he lost weight. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You may want one of those. So, just any kind of big brother or a skinny brother, whatever you want, go for that. And make sure mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, he's on par with you as well. Okay? And that's my advice for both men and women. And 3, it's on you, man.
Okay, hold on. I gotta get back to Al though, because he didn't answer the number 7 question.
All right. Well, my answer to it is just be yourself. Don't be something that you're not. Don't be out here, trying to imitate something that you're not. Just, what I'm saying, just stay real to yourself though, and then, ladies will, the ones that are out here that are single, they would compliment you or would like you for who you are. You know what I mean? Because sometimes women are like dogs. They can sniff out the fakeness. And once they see that, they be like, nah, you're not it. You know what I mean? So that's my advice. Just stay true to yourself. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. All right, so this is going to be my advice, right? And so it's going to be applied for both men and women at the same time. So you have to, all right, in modern dating, this is not like traditional anymore, okay? So the game has changed. You have to properly vet people, okay? This goes for the, like I said again, this goes for the men, this goes for the women. When you're meeting someone, you have to make sure you vet them out properly, okay? I know dates is pretty much like one like the best ways to try to vet a person, but a lot of times when we get caught up in our emotions, we always try to see the good in this person, even though that person showed clearly a lot of clear red signs in becoming an asshole, right? And so You don't want to. Unfortunately, you have to put your feelings aside. Like women have to put their feelings aside, and men have to practice discipline. Okay, like no matter for the men's side, I don't care how pretty the woman is. If she is an asshole, like you need to treat her like she's an asshole, and you need to stay away from her. Don't get caught up in the sex part. For women, if you know this guy is like out of his mind, and he has this possessive type of attitude, stay away from him. The money, the fame, the looks, whatever high status that he has that makes you think that he could provide a better lifestyle. If he doesn't respect you, you should not be with him at all, period. You should end it right there. But people get too caught up in the emotions and they try to stick around into terrible, toxic relationships that ends off in highly abusive relationships. So that's my advice, for both men and women at the same time. Properly vet out the people that you're with. Now, I do have the final question to ask. Now, before I get to the final question, people in the chat, this is your last chance to join into the panel, and feel free to ask a question or have a comment. But other than that, we're going to get to the last question. So, Jessica, what is the one thing you want to know about men?
Well, obviously, I don't want to stereotype or assume anything either, but just from my personal experience with the limited guys that I've dated, it just seems like it's one extreme or the other. It's like they're either really emotional or clingy, or the complete opposite. And I don't want to say have no emotions, but they hold back their emotions. So I guess what is, even just from what you just said a second ago, M3, you said something about women watch your emotions, but then you said men be disciplined. So it's almost like in a man's world, emotions can't or are limited on existing. So I guess that is what I want to know about men, why emotions have to be so absent. Because I feel like that is part of why some women don't want to submit or trust fully in a relationship.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Jessica, I like that. Okay.
And that's a good question. So I'll break this down to you. So to be clear, there's nothing wrong showing signs of emotions, because that's all part of human nature, especially if we have that attraction. But unfortunately, when it comes to modern dating, for a guy's point of view, right? And I'm not saying the bad man, but let's just say there's a lot of good men that's out there. I know that for a fact. Mm-hmm. But they run into a lot of women that has abundance of options. So when women have an abundance of options for men to choose from, they're very cutthroat. You could break up with a man, sob a little bit, and then you'll probably be okay, because then you'll be able to find another man. You'll probably find a man within the next hour or so, if a woman really wanted to. But for a man, we don't have that type of luxury. We don't have not luxury. We don't have that type of privilege, and we put that on ourselves because a lot of men, most of the time, they put women on the pedestal so highly, to the point where it's we don't have to give a woman a reason to chase after us, because you're gonna have a lot of men that's gonna be chasing after them. So going back to it, reason why I brought that up is because in relationships, a lot of good men, unfortunately, they run into a lot of problematic type of women. Whereas it's like if you present signs of neediness, it's a turn off for them. Even if they say like, oh, like I want him to be vulnerable and be the best that he can be, but in society it's usually like the opposite. Whatever you say does not really correlate to your actions. So if you find a man that's like super emotional, is in touch with his emotions, a lot of women usually get turned off because there's something about them that's like, man, this is not how, in their point of view, this is not how like men should be operating. You know, like I said, I'm speaking on for the good men that's out there that encounter with a lot of bad women or a lot of women. Men go through like a lot. I know women go through a lot, but we go through like hell and back. We gotta do
Ooh,
so
yes,
many
we do.
things
Yes, Lord.
just to try to in hopes of winning this woman over. We gotta go through the Sims. You know what I mean? We gotta go through society. We gotta make sure that we're on top of our purpose. Where it be the looks, the status, the money with the bins for some, right? We gotta make sure our body game is right if you want to increase those type of options. See, the thing is, to make it short, men are born at a disadvantage because we have to work our way to win a woman's attraction. Women are born with a cheat code because all you have to do is just look pretty, and we fall in love through our looks. Women fall in love through their ears. So hopefully, like that answers the question from my personal perspective.
Oh, I guess it's my turn.
Mm-hmm. No problem. Al, thank you for
um,
coming.
and yes, Jessica, thank you for sharing your perspective on that, because now I understand why you feel the way what you feel about submission. Now I understand. Now it correlates. Okay, I had to connect the dots, and I'm glad you shared what you shared. Now, my answer to this question is drum roll, please. No, I'm joking. Um, um, yes. Okay. Now, and I'm going to be completely transparent about this. I may even share, if it comes to mind, I may even share some experiences too. But I think the biggest reason why that happens, and first let me respond to what M3 said, then I'm gonna get into what you said, because I definitely want to delve deep into that. And three, you already know we brothers, man. You already know love is there. Got to give you a little bit of pushback on just one thing.
Okay.
I think it all depends on the person as far as if they can find somebody quickly. But I also think it's also in Western culture, men have been taught sometimes that they don't have options. We've been taught that, or we feel that way, and it's not true. You know what I'm saying? I know, men in my family, they've had, a lot of them have had their way with women. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have what they call it, the scarcity mindset. Yeah, they don't have the scarcity mindset, but a lot of men fall into that. But all depends on the man. All depends on the woman. You know what I'm saying? So there was a certain type of man. He looks a certain type of way. Or he has a certain type of resources and certain type of revenue or money. Or you can find somebody quickly. Oh, trust me, he will. If it's a woman, she looks a certain way, or she has certain things going for her, oh, she can find a man quickly. Oh, yes, she can. It can happen. You know what I mean? It depends on the person. So that's one. So to answer, there was something else you shared too, M3, but I forgot what it was. It was like the last point you shared, but I forget what it was. Do you remember what you shared lastly?
Let me see. You told me the last point I said.
Yes, sir.
It was somewhere where I said overall. No, I said overall, right? Most men, and like I said, keep in mind, like these are like average men I'm talking about, right?
Okay.
That are good, are born with a disadvantage. As in, like you're born, you have to work your way to win a woman's attraction, but a woman has a cheat code. Whereas, like, if you're beautiful, most men is going to come and approach you. Plus, I forgot to mention that we, in society, we're taught that men, are, got to do the approaching, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, but that's just what it is.
Yeah, but like I said, it's all relative. Like I remember it was this guy. He was a criminal, and he had like these green eyes. This was a few years ago. He had like these green eyes. This light skinned guy. He looked a certain way, and women was all over this guy. Like he had murdered somebody or something, and they didn't care.
I think
They're like, "Oh, I want him." They didn't care if he murdered the whole town. They wanted him. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on the person, and it's the same thing for women. A woman she could be an axe murderer, but if she look a certain way, she look like Halle Berry. Brothers will jump over the moon to get to her. It's like, dude, she kills people. She's gonna kill you. Hey, she's gonna kill me, man. I'm gonna make it. No, you're not. But that's, you know what I mean. That's you know what I mean. That's what it is. That's what it is. It all depends on the person. It's relative. Now, to answer Jessica's statement about the question, I think the reason why it's hard for some of us to show emotion, or at times show emotion, is because a lot of it comes from our background, what we were taught, what we were shown, who raised us, you know what I mean, and just different things and different aspects, and also our life experiences, and then also our experiences when it comes to women. So, a lot of times, with certain men, depending on who they are, you know what I mean, like they may not show emotion because they feel like they're being cool, and they've been taught that that's what cool men do, and they've had that mindset. Some men don't show emotion because they've been hurt a lot. So it's like, I'm not going to show you this emotion. Like, you're not going to hurt me. You know what I mean? So some men don't show emotion right away because they want you to earn that. They want you to basically earn it. You know what I mean? Based on just them having certain moral standards and values. They feel like they're not going to share certain things because you haven't got to a certain level with them as far as your relationship. You know what I mean? So if you're at the bottom level and you just are just like a associate or just a normal friend or a coworker or something like that, that brother ain't gonna talk to you about nothing. He may not share everything because you're not on that level. But if you do become a friend, or if you do become something more, or a wife or whatever, then yeah, he'll share more, but he's just gonna share basic information with you because you're not on that level. So he's gonna talk about the weather, maybe some sports topic, maybe a book, and he's gonna keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Or some men, it's just because they're not really interested, in that woman in that way. They have no interest, and because they don't have no interest, they're not going to show too much emotion. So it could be various reasons. You know what I'm saying? But it all goes back to how that person's background was, what they were taught, what they was raised, and what their ideology is. And once you break that down, then you'll know the reason why that person is not being open with you. If anybody's in a relationship with somebody and they're not really showing emotion, and you've shown them, and let's say you've shown them that you're trustworthy. Let's say you have. I've shown this man I'm trustworthy. I've given him this. I've given him that. You've done this together. We've done that together. And still, this brother still giving me a hard time. Then you need to have those conversations. Look, I've shown you that I'm trustworthy. Why is it so hard for you just to share your heart and how you feel? Like, I'm showing you this on a regular basis. Hold him to a standard. And then also, when you hold him to that standard, you have to give him, for yourself and for him, you got to give him a timeline. You got to say, listen, by this time, on this day, I need you to be more open, or we may have to move on. I can't do this with you. Like, I need more from you, and if he's really serious about you, he will provide more. If he's not serious, or if he wants to stay stuck in his ways, he's going to show you that. And then from there, you have to make a decision on what you want to do. I would say if he changes, definitely give it a chance. See where it goes. If he doesn't change, give him the boot. Bottom line, because then you're wasting your time, because now you're just with a robot. You're with somebody who's not emotionally available. And that's not fun. And that's not what anybody wants to be with. You want to be with somebody who's emotionally available, somebody who cares, and somebody who actually is invested in you. And they may not be interested in everything that you're interested in, But let's say for you, Jessica, like, a guy may not want to read every book that you're reading. He may not want to do a bunch of research. He may not be into none of that. He may be, look, I just want to watch sports on a weekend and maybe a movie, and that's about it. But the thing is that, if a guy's interested in you, he'll compromise on certain levels. You know what I mean? So he'll do the things that you want to do, and vice versa. It may be something that you completely hate. You're like, this is so boring. Like, I hate this. Like, you want to watch this type of movie? Like, brother, I don't want to watch this movie. Like, can we watch something else? But you know what? You'll be like, you know what? For him, I'm going to sit through this. I'm going to sit through it. I'm going to make some popcorn, and we're going to chill and watch this movie. Even though I really hate this movie. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time, my spouse and some friends, they wanted me to go watch Beauty and the Beast, and I ain't want to go watch it because I knew it was going to be boring as heck to me. And I really didn't go. But, man, the little kids started begging me, and my wife started looking at me. And I said, I guess I'm going to go watch Beauty and the Beast then. And, man, a brother did not want to go. I did not want to go. I fell asleep during the movie. Like, my wife kept waking me up. The kids were all crying and happy. And I'm like, why are they crying? Like, this is so boring. But, hey, they loved it. You know what I mean? It wasn't my cup of tea, but it was what it was for them. So, yeah, that's what it's got to be. You have to, you got to be willing to compromise, and you both have to be, emotionally invested, and also understand that one person's emotional investment is not the same as yours. Okay. They may have their emotional investment may be different from yours. It may look different, and it may take them time to invest certain things, but definitely hold them to a standard, hold them accountable, and hold them responsible for their emotions. So, yeah. And that's on both parts. That's on both men and women, both. So, yeah, that's my take.
Well, thank you both for sharing your opinion and your answer to that question.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. We appreciate you rocking with us. And 3, I think it's time to close down the shop, baby. Let's go.
Okay, sure. I didn't even know I was muted, but I just want to make sure. Yeah, any other thoughts, Jessica? Or are you good?
I'm good. I think, again, just appreciate you all letting me have this platform tonight, and I appreciate the interview and all the different comments, opinions. Everything is welcome. I love learning from other people, and I'm always open to other people's opinions and ideas.
Hold on. We gotta give people a preview. We gotta give people a preview of what's coming up for you, Jessica. We gotta give them a preview. You gotta let them know what's coming up. You gotta let them know the date. You know what I'm saying? Let them know what's coming. Let them know what's coming this wintertime. They don't even know. Let them know. Put a spotlight on them. 3 spotlight time.
Boom, 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 bam.
All right. Well, thank you again. So they have asked me to do a portion. Sometimes it'll be live streamed. Sometimes it'll be pre-recorded. The first one is supposed to drop on Tuesday, December 14th. And tentatively, it will be called Social Minutes. So it'll be definitely about societal topics, lots of different things, ladies and gentlemen, but also socializing. I definitely want it to be, very open, just kind of like tonight's dialogue was, right? Where people are comfortable disagreeing respectfully. And just talking about all kind of different up and coming social topics, past social topics. So, yep, really excited about that. And again, thank you all for giving me that platform. Yes, definitely agree with what Blaze said. Good to have the men's perspective. Definitely not just going to be all ladies' perspectives ever.
Yes, most definitely. And then we're zooming into Mr. Best in the World.
Yeah. Thank you again, everyone, for being a part of the Knowledge and Relationships Experience. I want to thank everybody in the comment section. Elena Thrasher, K. Marion, what's the person's name? Al. Knowledge and Relationship kind of jumped in here too a little bit. I see you. On the Law Library, thank you so much too, brother. Blaze Brown, thank you. So thank you everybody who contributed to the comment section. Bloom and Ebony, thank you as well. So yes, we thank all of you for being a part of our experience. Thank you, M3, for allowing us to be on your platform. We appreciate you, man. We love you. And Jessica, thank you for allowing us to interview you. We totally appreciate you. Thank you for showing us, thank you for showing us love. Thank you for just being there and sharing your perspective. And we appreciate everything you're doing as an educator and everything you're doing for the cause and for the movement. We truly appreciate it. Much love to you as well. But M3, take it away. Oh, one last thing. I am so sorry. My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
I'm gonna go ahead and zoom on you real quick.
As usual, y'all know who I am. I am the network manager for knowledge and relationships. Yes. You can catch me on MR Best in the World 1984. Yet again, MR Best in the World 1984 on Instagram. Thank y'all so much. M3, take it away, man.
All right. So thank you for tuning in to Knowledge and Relationships M3TV News, the stream that gives you the best news. And so I'd like to give a shout outs to Best in the World. Give shout outs to Jessica Hanson for being part of the interview and for her contribution towards the Ladies Night streams. And I also want to shout outs to like our main crew. First Lady Tammy, shout outs to her. DJ Eddie King, shout outs to him as well too. And so, with that being said, that's right. I am the CEO, as what most people call me, of Knowledge and Relationships here on YouTube or everywhere, however you want me appointed. But before anything else, before the ladies and the gentlemen come on to like the next live streams, make sure all you people get your minds right. Don't be slipping and tripping now. But anyways, we are signing out. Again, thank you, Jessica, for a wonderful interview. And we look forward to have you, a part of the panel and see you more soon. So,
Thank you. Thank you again.
No problem.
Yes,
All right, everyone. Show's over. We are out. Peace.
Later.
Bye.
DJ.